my next guest knows what I'm talking about. He knows how I feel about Andy Reid, and he knows I'm not wrong. He's the Las Vegas Raiders general manager of the 1-0 Vegas Raiders, Mike Mayock. How are you, Mike?
Rich, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Do you have that Andy Reid face shield ready? Do you got that? Do you got that?
I did not opt in for that one. No.
No? So,
no.
You had to be. Look, it's a serious subject. We're all letting our smile be our umbrella a little bit here, but you got to be chuckling a little bit seeing Andy Reid all fogged up on Thursday night.
Andy's
Mike.
One of my favorite people in the world.
I know.
And as you know, I did a bunch of Eagles preseason games and lived in Philly and got to know him. And there isn't a better guy out there. And I think the whole league got a little collective chuckle. And like at halftime, we were all going, "Come on, man, take the shield off. Just come out in a mask." And he didn't. And again, it's not a laughing matter, but that was the visual was kind of cute.
I was kind of surprised because Andy's the king of holding the menu in front of his mouth so nobody reads his lips. Now you've got a mask. I mean, this actually helps make sure no one can read your lips, and it helps public health and safety, Mike. It's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't quite think of it that way, but I guess you're right with all the fog in there.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. At any rate, let's get to your team. Congrats on that opening win. Were you there? Did you go to Carolina? Do you travel with the team?
Oh yeah, I test every day. Have tested every day since we've been back in early July, and would not miss a game.
Okay, so now what happens now? Since this is your perfect person to ask, because now this is when I'm holding my breath. We just had vectors cross between teams. We haven't had that yet until games are being played. What happens now? Testing every day, and then you're holding your breath for 4 or 5 days from now? Is that what your health officials are telling you of when something might start popping?
Well,
Heaven forbid?
Technically, there was nobody on that field yesterday that was positive.
Right.
And that's what you have to believe in. And to be honest with you, I kind of went into this thing a couple of months ago going, I don't know what's going to happen here. You read reports around the country. You try and stay current both within the sport and in society in general. And you kind of go, man, I don't know if we can do this. And then I have to give a lot of credit to the doctors and the medical people involved, both for the NFL and the NFLPA, and kind of coming together. And at first you looked at all these protocols. And, Rich, I have a binder that I carry around with me with protocols. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think that was part of the job when I took it.
Right.
And, it takes you away from the football on one side. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you go back to June, July, and we all kind of looked at these protocols like, you got to be kidding me. How are we going to conduct a training camp? How are we going to have meetings? And now in hindsight, when you look at the thousands and thousands of tests and the minimum number of positive tests, and you go, I guess these guys knew what they were talking about, and that's number one. And number two, a lot of respect for the players on all 32 teams for taking it seriously. And you're right, the next challenge was kind of, okay, we're going to be on the same field together. But technically, we were all clean yesterday, and I'm not even thinking about that a whole lot right now. We're trying to get ready for the New Orleans Saints, and I'm trusting in these protocols because they've been so good to us.
That's so great. And I'm glad, first of all, a little bit of kidding, I'm glad you've graduated to a binder from the Scholastic fourth grade notebook that used to scroll your combine notes into. I'm glad you've at least gotten to a binder.
I still have the Our Lady of Lourdes fourth grade notebook, and I will never relinquish that.
Okay.
But
right.
There is a place in my world for loose papers fitting in a binder.
See, this is what happens when you go from broadcasting to general managing. You have to hear that you're saying, you know what, obviously you are thinking about it when you say you're not thinking about it, but the fact that you can trust a process that is in place and start thinking about the other aspects of being a general manager, that is great to hear. Let's talk, if you wouldn't mind, about the other medical, if you will. How is Henry Ruggs doing today? What's going on with that young man? Best you can tell me.
Well, he was able to finish the game, and everybody's going through the medical part this morning right now,
right.
And we'll figure out as the week progresses.
Okay, but what did you glean from his performance when he was out there, Mike?
He's kind of as advertised. He's fast, which we all know. Derek threw a vertical to him early in the game, which I think helped back them off a little bit, and then hit him on a 45-yard deep over again, which kind of announced his presence and opened things up underneath a little bit. And then, he had 3 catches. He had a couple carries. I just think he's everything we hoped he would be up to this point. And what's really cool about it is Nick Saban told me when I had the conversation with Nick prior to the draft, and Nick said, look, Mike, he approaches every day like he's a walk-on. And he's tough beyond what you would consider a wide receiver to be, and both those things have been very true.
Well, I mean, and then Josh Jacobs. I mean, my God, Mike. I know you loved him. He basically had you at hello when you saw him, certainly in person. But what he is becoming right now, I told you last year that he reminded me of Zeke, and I didn't want to put any sort of ziggy on him or punch the clown. He used a phrase that you always used when we were working together.
Right.
But my gosh, he runs with a viciousness, and he arrives with an intent. He's dynamite, man. And I'm wondering what you think that after seeing him. He's on the same field as McCaffrey, and he's given as much as you're taking yesterday.
Yeah, he had 29 touches for 139 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I think we've kind of come to take for granted him in the run game. I think what he did yesterday was show people how he's evolved as a receiver. He caught a choice route over the middle against Shaq Thompson, and that is as good a choice route as I've seen a running back run. And then in 2 steps later, left their free safety in the dust with kind of a dead leg move and picked up 28 yards on a crucial play for us on a little choice route over the middle. And he had 4 catches yesterday. I think he's a cool blend of short area quickness and incredible power. And the backstory to the kid. He lived with his father and siblings in a car for a while when they were in high school. And what I'm most proud about is not just the football. He's evolving as a really cool, immensely mature young man. And he's just, I love being around him.
And he is one specifically, no question, to root for. How is Trent Brown doing? What can you tell me about him, Mike?
Well, again, it's the same thing. He's going for MRI, and we're going to see what it looks like. And we think we're a little bit different when he's in the lineup, but, we need to get him back in the lineup.
Okay. And speaking of back in the lineup, Abram, he looked like the kid you drafted yesterday, or what?
Yeah, he had a good game. I mean, defensively, we need to get a lot better and more detailed. But John flew around. He had 13 tackles. He's a guy we think can be a difference maker, and he really played a good football game yesterday.
When you say more detailed, what do you mean, Mike? What do you mean by that, about your defense needing to be more detailed?
Well, again, without preseason games and with as much youth as we have on our defense, I mean, we might have one of the youngest secondaries in the NFL for sure. And we just don't have enough live reps yet. So just little things. I think there's some talent back there, but we just have to pay attention to the details. Well,
now you sitting in your, if you will, silver and black ivory tower of being management in the NFL, all of us back in the media days that you used to be in, we're talking right now, Mike, that we don't need preseason football based on how we're seeing week 1. What would you say to us that are sitting out here saying preseason football should be never returned again? What do you say to that?
Couldn't disagree more. And, you can have the conversation about whether you need 4 preseason games, but I would say a minimum of 2. And I think we learned a lot of lessons, I think, with the challenges from the draft going forward. And I thought the NFL in general, and I think we all embraced the challenges. And but what you don't want to do is you don't really want to go into the NFL regular season without seeing your young guys tackle on punts, punt protect, special teams. We have rookies that we cut that we thought were pretty good football players that never got a chance to tackle a guy live. And that's not fair. It's not fair to I understand what you're saying about the fans, but I look at it through a different prism. And I say it's not fair to the young players who are trying to make a living in this league. And it makes it a heck of a lot tougher on the evaluators also. We're trying to cut people and not cut people, and we haven't even seen them people get tackled yet. So I'd very much not be in favor of eliminating the entire preseason.
Vegas GM Mike Mayock, a couple minutes left with him here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's the scoop with Mariota? What ails him, and when can we expect to see him back?
He just had a kind of freak little injury. We put him on short-term IR, which means he'll be back in the next couple of weeks, and he should be better than ever. And I think when we signed him, part of the conversation was he had to have some off-season surgery on his ankle, and he had to get himself right medically, and that's where we still are. We're trying to get him 100% medically, because when he is 100%, he brings a little different dynamic to the table. So
getting him in there, you think? Is that what you're saying? Getting him on the field?
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I'm saying we got to get him right medically.
Okay. Yeah. Have you noticed, Mike, that in this conversation I've asked you injury news that you definitely don't want to talk about, and mixed it in with questions that I thought I could get a much more involved answer from you. Have you noticed that during this conversation, Mike?
Rich, you're a nuanced interviewer.
See, I know you see through me, Mike. You've stared through me before. I know you see through me, but I just, I'm trying to get information. So you're saying Marcus Mariota, it's his ankle that hurts him? Is that the freak injury?
No, I told you he had off-season ankle injury.
Okay. So what's the freak injury?
We don't talk about it.
Fight Club.
All right. So, have you, when I worked with Buck Showalter many, many moons ago, I bring this up because Buck told me he had something specific that he would do when he was the manager and also kind of de facto major domo of the Arizona Diamondbacks about their new stadium. Is there anything you put your own finishing touches on that we'll be seeing next Monday night on the new stadium, Mike Mayock?
Heck no. I mean, that
Nothing?
thing was already designed and under construction by the time they hired me. So I'm just very appreciative I get to work there eventually.
So is there anything like the Mike and Ike's? Like, have you told them I need to have some sort of, candy? Is there anything that you've set up for your viewing pleasure in this new stadium?
I don't even know where I'm sitting.
Come on. Really?
I'm being serious. I have no idea. I mean, we have an empty stadium, and I don't know what's open and what's not open. And to be really honest with you, I don't really care what's, that's not really on my plate. We got the New Orleans Saints, who you failed to mention so far in this entire conversation, on Monday Night Football. And we're talking about Mike and Ike's in the seats.
Well, those are important.
The evaluation process by Mike Mayock never ceases. I've ceased to amaze. All right, so tell me, what challenges do the New Orleans Saints present to your Las Vegas Raiders, Mike?
Look, they're one of the top franchises in this league. Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton have done an amazing job. And everybody wants to talk about Drew Brees, as they should, and Alvin Kamara, as they should. Mm-hmm. But they've got Michael Thomas. They've got weapons on offense. I think their front four, led by Cameron Jordan, who probably – I don't think he's missed a game in 9 years. And I don't know why people don't talk about him more. Mm-hmm. They got 4 first-round defensive linemen, and Demario Davis, who they just paid, is special. This is a challenge for us and our young team in our first home game in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And I'm really anxious to see whether or not we can stand up to it and compete.
Okay. Are you aware that Michael Thomas is officially listed as questionable right now with a high ankle sprain injury that he suffered in a freak accident in the final throws of that game yesterday, while you were flying home? You aware of that?
That last statement told me nothing. It's Monday morning. We have no idea whether or not he'll be available.
Okay.
But if he is, and he probably will be, he's special.
Where did you put him? Where'd you put him when he came out? He was like one of your top receivers coming out of the Ohio State, right?
He doesn't like me.
Oh, you didn't have him. Are you serious?
No, I had him pretty much where the league had him. But obviously I had him as a second-round pick, and that's where he went. And he is not, I don't think he was very happy with, I think I had him, 46th or 47th in my top 100 list that year, and I think he went either 46th or 47th in the draft. So,
oh man! All right, so
I was kind of in line with where the league was, and we were all way low on him because, he's incredibly special.
All right, so this is the last one for you, because again, obviously, there's no on-field conversations before the game really this year. But last year, who was the one that came up to you that remembered your evaluation on NFL Network as you were on the field for the then Oakland Raiders general manager, who came up to you that you were kind of surprised, like this guy actually remembered my evaluation from NFL Network? Do you remember that one?
The funny thing is they all do. And
yeah, they do.
And it makes for some intriguing conversations. And I mean, the guy, some of the older Raiders remember my evaluations of them, so it's pretty funny.
All right, Mike, thanks for the call. How's everything? Life's good otherwise? Everything good? You're settled there in Vegas? It's all settled?
You know what? My family's healthy, and I have a job, and I'm very appreciative of both.
Yeah. Well, be healthy, be safe. Congrats on that opener, and let's chat down the line.
Always a pleasure, Rich.
Right
Thanks,
back at you. You got it. That's Mike Mayock. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.